Hi, good evening, everyone. And thank you, Robin, for the introduction. I have one of those names that people mispronounce sometimes, and it's Laila. And I'm here this evening, and it's a great honor for me to be here. And I'd like to take the opportunity right now to thank Helen Walsh for creating such a wonderful space. Yes. Thank you, Helen. I think, Diaspora Dialogues really brings together a diversity of immigrant voices, and I'm really happy to be part of it this evening. So I'd like to start by reading a poem that was directly inspired by my being part of Diaspora Dialogues. And I wrote this poem shortly after meeting my mentor in the program, who is Olive Sr., and a really wonderful mentor and an instructive poet. Gave me really good instruction. So the poem I'm going to read is entitled Another Life, and it contemplates the what-ifs in life. It contemplates the paths not taken and perhaps the opportunities that still await. But before I start the poem, I just would also like to mention very quickly that I'm going to be using the word coolie in this poem. And historically, the word coolie is a pejorative term that signifies Chinese and Indian heritage. It's a pejorative way to describe peoples of Chinese and Indian heritage. And contemporaneously, the word coolie is also fraught with difficulties. So when I use it in this poem, I use it very much aware and very much with respect to that heavy heritage. And I also use it to claim the word coolie for everyone who's ever been called or who's been feared being called coolie. And as I said, the poem is entitled Another Life. In another life, I could have been the poet, standing there under yellow lights, throwing my slim shoulders back into a hunch, rolling my sad story with small simplicity to those who see me now. In another life, I could have had a child or two, girls, I think, friendly sisters who fight sometimes, laugh more often, grow to know love without kindness lacks reason. In another life, I could have been a housewife to some man rich in Islam and insurance. He sold sometimes to seal the prize. Class footing, shaky still. Brown in a country where brown owned only the countryside. Rule there, Miss Coolie. In another life, I could have lived in another town, far away from the Toronto chill. But this place, easy still, not so bad. Smile at other possible past. In another life, I could have had a dog named Ginger, because she's soft, or Freddie, after Nietzsche, or Sam, to honor the angst less well-tended. Another life, how ridiculous to dream, when this life already so uncertain. Thank you. The second poem I'm going to read is entitled Not Televised. And I borrow the title partly from a 1974 song that was entitled The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. And this song appeared and reflected a particular moment in African America, in Black America, when race riots and urban violence plagued Black communities. But it was also a time of Black militancy and a call to social action, social revolution. So I use Not Televised in part to refer to the moment that we're living in right now in Toronto, and the gun violence that's plaguing Black communities in Toronto. And because the social revolution has not occurred, I title it Not Televised. not televised, or so they sang, of a revolution where black bodies proclaim silence no longer an option. 40-something years later, black Toronto bodies chant the same. The city listens to the shame of immigrants, natives, Dirk citizens all, crying for hope among the hopeless. Who listens? Who hears? Who feels the need to move into the margins where difference is amplified in reverse? Not your problem, someone else's, until a gun in your face or your place shattered by the grand illusion, those lives graze only your city center. The rich city, the white city, where some succeed in their banana republic loft shopping way, and others fall dangerously, quickly, to the squeegee of the 90s and 21st century homelessness. Where white boys on welfare eat Wonder Bread, hoping for a little chance, luck perhaps? Adopted home, beloved city place, make space for the young dispossessed. Why are they fighting? And why should we not care? Thank you. Thank you. I have one final poem that I'd like to read. And this final poem speaks to a journey. It speaks to a weekly commute that I made last year between Toronto and Kingston. And I'm really delighted to be reading this poem so close to Lake Ontario. Although we can't see Lake Ontario, I know it's there. I'm delighted to read it so close to Lake Ontario for the particular reason that that is the lake that shadows the journey between these two cities, between Toronto and Kingston. So that was my view on this weekly commute. And as I said, this poem is about a journey, a particular journey. It's inspired by that journey. And the poem I'm going to read is entitled Union. For 8 months I shifted, swayed in weekly motion, left Union Station expectant and wondrous, entered Kingston still stretching away the slumber of deep morning, the train knocking its rhythmic time upon my restful cheek. I am happiest when moving. For 8 months I packed my tidy one piece, rolled it away to another place where city noise does not exist. Found I love my voice and space, laughter and touch. Lonely only in the strangeness of my being. Wondered why I did not know this self sooner. For 8 months I hurried home, restful until the fields folded tighter and muddier the lakes appeared from my window. 2 swans off white and center swim peacefully along, guide country into town. For 8 months you awaited my arrival, your first white light greeting, then brighter the luminous city emerged, beckoning me on. I am like a Roman coming home to you, Toronto. No family awaits my arrival, no friends tiptoe and peek for my sojourner's smile. No guest of the big bad city, that purse expired long ago. So now along we go, my little suitcase and I down the ramp. City bred, quicken my gait, roll the country out of my way. For 8 months, Thursday night traffic stuck me on Yonge. My cabbie always secure, no life story to offer or fetch. Sat quietly back in the immigrant cab with my immigrant self, absorbing the welcome of the textured city. For 8 months, I returned to you, Toronto, the city that allowed me to become the me I took for 8 months to another place. Thank you very much.